Yeah, of course, there's the infamous Tribe Called Quest show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that show.
Listen.
Yet Jeff shows up once again at my worst moments of my life. With sage advice, mind I have to say. You had the correct advice that I once again chose not to listen to.
You guys were set on it. So anyways, they would open up a Tribe Called Quest, and it was it was a packed house.
Packed out.
People would want to see Tribe. I think Tribe was like talking about breaking up, so it was like a real hot show.
And Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Yeah,
so this had just come out.
So this crowd was there for like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
They opened doors about 7, and I heard backstage like Tribe's not going on until midnight.
Yeah,
crowd was packed for the minute the doors opened, and there was 4 openers. We were one of the openers, and it was supposed to be staggered. DJ Shadow was DJing. It was supposed to be like, an opener plays for 20 minutes, DJ spins for 40 minutes, and it was supposed to stagger through the whole thing. That's not what happened.
No.
The first 3 acts went back to back to back to back to back. The promoter flipped out, cussed everybody out, looked at us and said, "You're not going on for another hour." And the crowd just sat there with no...
Yeah, because didn't like Shaquille O'Neal's guys come in? They were called the Warheads.
Yes.
And they like bumped you or so. I don't know.
No, they went in the right order, but basically they went... What was supposed to happen was supposed to stagger and keep the crowd entertained for hours because Tribe wasn't playing until midnight. And they didn't do that. For some reason, all the openers just got excited and went back to back to back to back. The promoter flips out and says, "No one's going on stage for another hour plus." And it was just us left. We were the only ones left. So the crowd just sat there.
Oh, they were hostile.
With no...
They were hostile.
Nobody was telling them what was going on. The DJ's just spinning, And I never forget, because it was like the kiss of death right before we go on stage. The DJ goes, "Y'all ready for Tribe tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, y'all ready for Tribe tonight? Yeah." Here's Sons of Intellect.
Yeah, but let's rewind that. You guys were rehearsing backstage.
Oh yeah.
And you go, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Yeah, this was...
Let me get your take on this
idea.
And so your boy started beatboxing, and you like doing this old school like beatbox rhyming thing, and I go,
old school is only 1996. It's not...
Yeah, but I think like beatbox 85, 86.
You're right. Listen, I'm still arguing with you.
Yeah.
30 years later, I'm still arguing with you about the legitimacy of that moment.
But you remember things better than I do. You got a great memory.
I do, but I don't know where my car keys are. But that being said, yes. You said very clearly, do not do that.
Yeah, you did this whole thing, and I'm like, whatever you do, don't do that. I said, that crowd's hostile out there. They're going for blood. Don't do it. And you go, you know what you're talking about. This is dope.
Because again, up to that point, we had been doing this routine that was killing it. Like we would do it in the projects, we'd do it in the hood, we'd do it at our shows. Like it was crushing. So again, this is the fallacy of youth mindset. Like when you're in your 20s, no one can tell you anything. No one can tell you anything. And this is a good indication of my, like my hard-headedness, that why would I ask your opinion and then completely disregard everything?
You've always done that. You know what you're talking about. You can't even rap, Jeff.
I never said that. I never said that to you.
Like it was a big part of the story. So Shaquille O'Neal had this group called the Warheads, and they were like these huge, brothers, dude. And
scary looking.
And you had to walk
looking dudes.
You had to walk up on the staircase to get to the stage.
Yes.
And I just remember I was just standing there waiting for you guys to go on, but these guys are going on before you.
Right.
And I look at this one of these hard guys, looks like he just got out of jail or something. And I said, "Hey, excuse me, sir." I said, "We have a hat policy in this club." And he goes, "For real?" I'm like, and I go, "Yeah, you need to take your hat off." And he goes, "Oh man."
It was just, you have to understand, like these guys up to this point had not said a word. They would do what I could only describe as an Indian war call in the middle of their song. Yes. They would go it'd be like this slow grinding beat. They're just angry, just screw face. And then all of a sudden you're in the middle of the song, you're like, these guys are going to kill somebody tonight. So everything about it was just like, these must be the hardest dudes, like straight out the pen. And Jeff, being Jeff, stands at the entrance. There's only one entrance to go onto the stage. Like he looks like he's security, because he goes into his little goofball mode, which you never stop. And you stood there, and they were about to go up, and I'll never forget it, because you go, "We have a no hat policy," and the way he reacted, he goes, "Oh man!" Like as though he just broke character at that moment. I went, "This is just a show. What are you doing? What am I scared of these guys for?" And you never broke character. They went on, and then you said, you go, "I'm just kidding, man. I don't even work here." And they're like, "Oh yeah, thanks, bro." And they put the hats back on. Didn't even miss a beat. Went right back into character. Went on stage.
I'm cracking myself.
And I just look at Jeff like, This dude. I was like, I'm glad you're here. And then you're like, don't do whatever you do, don't do the beatbox. We're like, nah, man, you don't know what you're talking about. And that literally the beatbox is what incited the crowd into pure hatred, pure rage.
But you know what was crazy? I was watching the whole thing. So I had a bird's eye view of what was going on. And I still remember this. And this is what I had so much respect for you, because you could literally do the walk of shame after that, because they were hostile. They were throwing things on the stage.
They had thrown stuff at the previous artist. And the stage was littered and stuff.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It started booing and you didn't know how to react, and you started walking back. But then you went back to the microphone. You gave your evangelist spill. So you said, Jesus is Lord. And you said something else. And you didn't care who was going to throw something at you. You wanted to make sure that was known. And then you ran off the stage.
Well, yes, you're correct. You're missing one key point. Once we started doing the beatbox, it was just a pocket of people started like getting mad.
Yeah.
Well, all the stuff that the previous artist had thrown into the crowd all of a sudden became projectiles. So I'm like dodging what's being thrown at me, and it's an a cappella moment. And I was just like, I looked at Golden Child, who was my partner then, my rhyme partner, and I said, hey man, let's just like, we got to call it, let's go. And that's when I walked off. Turned around, he was still on stage yelling at the crowd. He's like, I'll battle anybody right here, right now, which
that's
took
right.
them from, we don't like you, to, we're going to kill you, white boy. Like, that's when they were like ready to come get him. So when I went back on, yes, it was to like salvage the moment. And then it was also to save him from being attacked by probably 700 angry Puerto Ricans that day. That's what happened. So I was like and it also changed my ministry mindset. Like, I had this going into that, my mindset was win the crowd, be a dope MC, then tell them about God. And I realized that day that I'd rather be booed for who I am in Christ than who I am as an MC. And I changed it that day, and I never went back, and I never had that problem again.
That was, I mean, for me, I was like, and I had so much respect for you after you did that. I'm like, dang, this guy is for real. Because I knew you. Yeah. I didn't know you like that. Yeah. And I knew that you had bold faith, but not bold faith like that. I go, this guy, this wasn't a Christian event. This was a mainstream event.
It was.
I mean, these people were out for blood.
Yeah.
And you took it. I said, that is true evangelism.
That sounds great. All these years later, I left that so dejected. We walked into I remember looking at, and it was Consequence. Q-Tip's cousin was actually down in the audience, or down in the backstage, and he saw that happen. He goes, don't sweat it. Just keep doing your thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I looked at Jack, Golden Child, and I was like, let's just go. Let's just get out of here. And we got into the parking lot, going to my car, and someone stopped me and said, you guys are Christians, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, or this girl, she goes, that made my night. I don't need to see Tribe now.
Wow.
But we drove home those 3.5 hours in silence.
Yeah.
Like pure silence, like just absolutely rejected. And the irony is that a week later, someone called me and said, do you want to open up for Mobb Deep? In a couple weeks, down the street from where I grew up in Ybor City.
Wow.
And I was like, yes, I do. And I changed it. I said, from now on, whatever I do in that, it has to be Jesus first out of my mouth. And when I did that at Mobb Deep, it just shifted the whole crowd. And ironically, 10 years later, almost to the day, I headlined that same stage when it was the Christian club. And I got to share the gospel in the same place I got thrown off the stage.
It's so important that you hit the Kingdom Influence podcast. Hit that subscribe button down below.